Welcome to the countdown of the top 20 darkest cartoon theories that'll ruin your childhood. Let's start with number 20, Toy Story, The Grieving Playroom. Okay, let's kick things off with a theory that reframes an entire Pixar trilogy. We all know Andy loves his toys. This theory claims he actually belonged to Andy's older brother who tragically died. The name Andy was passed down and all these toys are heavy emotional hand-me-downs. That family move? It wasn't just a new house, it was a desperate attempt to outrun devastating grief. And Buzz Lightyear? He wasn't just a cool new action figure, he was a shiny, distracting replacement for a memory too painful to handle. Number 19. The Amazing World of Gumball, Zack's Endless Simulation. Now let's dive into Elmore. This theory pulls the plug on Gumball's entire reality. According to this, Gumball Watterson is actually a human boy named Zack, and his entire world is one big, broken virtual simulation. His mom, Nicole, is in on the secret, playing along to keep what's left of their family from completely falling apart. All those weird, reality-bending episodes in that terrifying void, those are just massive system failures. In the series finale's world-ending chaos, that's not an ending, that's the server finally crashing for good and shutting everything down. Number 18. Phineas and Ferb, Candace's imaginary brothers. This theory is just brutal. What if Phineas and Ferb were never there? The idea is that the real Phineas died because of bullying, and Ferb symbolizes another sibling left in a coma. Candace's endless, frantic busting isn't about getting her brothers in trouble. It's a cry for help, a desperate attempt to make her parents see the children they've lost. The whole show, every single crazy invention, is just a beautiful, tragic coping mechanism playing out in a grieving sister's mind. Number 17. Cars, Autoside. Alright, buckle up for this one. Pixar themselves confirmed that cars have organic brains, so every time Lightning McQueen slams into a wall at 200 miles per hour, he's giving himself massive traumatic brain damage. And Mater's beloved junkyard? That's not a scrapyard, my friends, that's a graveyard. He's literally sleeping in a field of corpses and spare parts. Meanwhile, the rich cars can just swap their engines into new bodies, achieving immortality while the poor rust away. It's a full-blown horrifying class war fought on four wheels. Number 16. The Lion King. Scar's coup was justified. Now let's look at the King of the Jungle. What if the story we were told was pure propaganda? What if Scar was less of a villain and more of a revolutionary? This theory suggests Mufasa was actually a tyrant who enforced a brutal class system. The lions lived in luxury in the Pride Lands, while he forced the hyenas to starve in the elephant graveyard. The 2024 film Mufasa, The Lion King supports this to an extent, revealing Scar, originally Taka, was wronged and shaped by betrayal and familial conflict, pushing him toward villainy. His coup wasn't about jealousy, it was an attempt to overthrow a corrupt monarchy and feed the starving masses. And his history as a pure evil villain? Well, that's just the version written by the winners, Simba and the restored royal family. Number 15. Up. Carl's dead, Russ is the angel. Let's get heavy. What if Carl never actually lifted his house with balloons? The theory posits he passed away in his sleep, and his entire journey is his soul's passage to the afterlife. Russell? He's not a kid. He's a guardian angel in training helping Carl cross over. The house floating is impossible because physics stopped applying. And when Carl finally lets the house go at Paradise Falls, he's not saving Kevin, he's releasing his last earthly attachment to finally reunite with Ellie. Number 14. Snow White, Death's Bride. Here's a twist on the classic. Snow White never woke up. She died from that apple, and the prince who arrives, that's Death himself, riding his pale horse to collect her soul. Their true love's kiss is actually a folkloric kiss of death, him taking her final breath. That dove she sends flying, a soul marked for departure, and that beautiful castle in the clouds they ride toward at the end, that's not a kingdom, it's the afterlife. Number 13. Adventure Time. The Land of Ooh is a nuclear wasteland. Finn and Jake's wacky world has a terrifying origin story. The Land of Ooh is actually a post-apocalyptic Earth centuries after the Mushroom War, which wasn't about fungi, but nuclear mushroom clouds. The candy people, talking dogs, and bizarre mutants are all results of radiation and magical fallout. Princess Bubblegum is sentient lab-grown goo, the Ice King is a radiation-crazed human, and those underground subways filled with skeletons are grim reminders of the dead civilization below. Number 12. SpongeBob SquarePants. Bikini Bottom is a nuclear test site. This theory perfectly explains the insanity Bikini Bottom sits under the real-life Bikini Atoll, an actual US nuclear test site. The characters are mutated marine life granted sentience by radiation. SpongeBob's eternal optimism and chaotic behavior, permanent brain damage. Sandy needing a helmet, the water is toxic. The constant disasters and the bubble bowl are echoes of the nuclear explosions that forged their world. It's not a happy pineapple under the sea. It's a radioactive containment zone. Number 11. The Powerpuff Girls. The chemical origin of violence. Forget the sweet origin story, the theory claims Townsville is a government testing ground. Professor Utonium is a Pentagon contractor and Chemical X is a neural pathway weapon designed to create perfect soldiers. The girls are merely Batch 3. Mojo Jojo was Batch 2, a loyalty conditioning failure. Him was the escaped Batch 1. Every monster attack is a live fire test, and the city's endless rebuilding lets the government collect combat data while the useless mayor keeps outsiders from asking questions. Number 10. Aladdin. The genie's infinite torture. Let's talk about the genie's wacky personality. It's not an act, it's the symptom of a catastrophic psychological breakdown. He spent 10,000 years in solitary confinement, fully conscious in a pitch-black silent void. Science tells us that even a few months of isolation can cause psychosis and hallucinations. The genie endured millennia, so when he's free, his manic energy and rapid-fire impressions are a mind desperately trying to experience a lifetime of sensation in a few precious moments. His attachment to Aladdin is the desperate cling of a prisoner terrified of returning to an eternity of nothingness. Number 9. Pokemon. The trainer's death loop. Here's a dark twist on your Pokemon journey. When a wild Pokemon faints, the Japanese term used is hinchi, which literally means near death. Trainers just walk away, but that creature is left injured, defenseless, and unable to hunt or survive. They likely die from their wounds, starvation, or predators. This means every trainer's quest leaves a massive trail of ecological destruction. Professor Oak's Pokédex project suddenly looks less like a fun hobby and more like a frantic race to document these species before 10-year-old children hunt them to extinction. Number 8. Winnie the Pooh. Forgotten friends in a closet. This theory is supported by a real medical paper published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal. It suggests the inhabitants of the 100-acre wood are physical manifestations of Christopher Robin's mental disorders. Pooh represents ADHD and an eating disorder. Piglet embodies generalized anxiety disorder, Eeyore is a clear case of chronic depression, and Christopher Robin himself may have schizophrenia, with the animals being his auditory and visual hallucinations. His eventual abandonment of the toys in the closet represents his painful attempt to suppress his illness as he grows up. Number 7. The Jetsons and the Flintstones, a nuclear class system. That famous crossover got it wrong. The Jetsons didn't go to the past, they were sent down to the surface of Earth. The theory posits a nuclear apocalypse fractured humanity. The wealthy escaped to sterile, floating sky cities, becoming the Jetsons. Everyone else was left on the irradiated ground to survive, becoming the Flintstones. They aren't a modern Stone Age family, they're post-apocalyptic survivors using mutated animals and rubble to rebuild. The two societies exist at the same time, with the elite sky dwellers actively ensuring the savages below never make contact. Number 6. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Never left the middle of nowhere. What if the terrifying monsters were never there? This theory frames Courage as a dog suffering from severe PTSD after his traumatic abandonment as a puppy. The middle of nowhere is simply a normal, isolated farm. His hypervigilant anxiety transforms every ordinary visitor, the mailman, a neighbor, a traveling salesman, into a grotesque supernatural entity. Muriel and Eustace remain completely unfazed because they're interacting with regular people. The entire show becomes a heartbreaking portrait of a dog battling crippling mental illness, perceiving unimaginable horrors in every single shadow. Number 5. Avatar. The Legend of Korra's spirit world gone mad. So Korra's big move to unite the worlds, it might have been her greatest failure. This theory argues that when she opened the spirit portals, she didn't bring balance, she unleashed a plague. The dark spirit Vatu's corrupting influence had never left, festering like an infection. Those aggressive spirits and decaying vines weren't just quirky new neighbors, they were symptoms of a dying spirit world. Korra's actions, mixed with human pollution, shattered the protective barriers Aang fought for, flooding the physical world with malevolent entities and breaking the Avatar cycle for good. Number 4. Wreck-It Ralph, the Game Odometer. Let's talk about the high score no one wants in this universe. Getting unplugged is the permanent game over. When Turbo's game was shut down, every single character inside was erased from existence. The so-called homeless in Game Central Station are the sole survivors. But the theory gets even darker, suggesting that sometimes being unplugged doesn't delete you. It performs a hard reset. Your memories, your personality, everything that made you you is wiped clean, leaving behind an empty shell. It's a digital coma, and when those lights go out, the person you were is gone forever. Number 3. The Little Mermaid, Triton's Royal Blood Farms. Why do King Triton's daughters look so completely different? It's not genetics, it's geopolitics. This theory claims Triton strategically fathered children with mermaids from each of the 7 seas, using his daughters as living treaties to consolidate his power across the ocean. Ariel, with her distinctive red hair, is the exception, the only true daughter of Queen Athena, and thus the sole legitimate heir to the throne. Her sisters are unwritten pawns in a royal breeding program, transforming a charming family into a cold, calculating political empire. Number 2. Moana, Chosen by Death. This theory redefines the entire hero's journey. It suggests Moana didn't survive that initial typhoon. She drowned in her entire adventure, finding Maui, battling the Kakamora, and facing Tamatoa, unfolded in the spirit world. The realm of monsters was literally called the Underworld in early scripts. Her grandmother was a spectral guide, and the ocean helped her because she was already part of its domain. Returning the heart completed her spiritual trial, earning her a resurrection and the repaired boat that carried her back to the world of the living. And our final theory? Number 1. Phineas and Ferb, the father in plain sight. What if the greatest mystery in Danville is the identity of Phineas's father? This shocking theory claims it's been solved. Dr. Doofenshmirtz is his dad. The proof is in their identical triangular heads, a rare genetic trait. The theory suggests that before Linda met Lawrence, she had a relationship with a younger Doofenshmirtz. This explains why his evil schemes are bizarrely non-lethal and constantly target his own neighborhood. They're desperate, subconscious cries for attention from the family he lost. Even Perry the Platypus's role gets darker. He wasn't just assigned to stop a villain, but to protect the boys by OWCA, who knows the truth and is ensuring Dr. Doofenshmirtz never gets too close, keeping Phineas's perfect summer and this devastating secret perfectly intact. So which one of these theories completely broke your brain? Drop your winner in the comments below, and if you got a theory that's even darker, we dare you to share it. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our next deep dive into the hidden shadows of your favorite shows. Thanks for watching.